Okay, before I begin our final story, there's some information that I want to share with you all. Tomorrow, you will be receiving an email from me with recommendations for things that you can do in the city. Now, that email will also have a link to our trip advisor. And I want you all to feel free to go to our trip advisor and leave me a 5-star review. I want you to feel free to do that. I don't want to keep that from you. Please go ahead, do that. No, but seriously, we rely heavily on reviews from you all as a small business, so we really appreciate it if you would leave us a review. Um, Also, we have 5 other tours, and I highly suggest that you go on at least one of them. Tomorrow, we have the hippie tour, and if you sign up with me, I can get you a discount. So when we finish here, before you leave, come see me, and I will get you signed up for that. Now, for our last story, we go to John's Grill. Do you see the sign in the distance that says John's Grill? Yes, these were the stomping grounds of the author Dashiell Hammett. And actually, John's Grill appears in the novel The Maltese Falcon. And also, that novel was turned into the film noir starring Humphrey Bogart by the same name. During the Prohibition era, John's Grill was a respectable restaurant that just happened to have a small wooden door. And those in the know would go up to this small wooden door, knock the secret knock, then they would say the password to the eyes behind the small little window, and then they would enter. Once they entered, they would literally slide down to a subterranean speakeasy. Yes, it's like a McDonald's play place. You would literally woo, take a slide down, and then you are in a speakeasy. Now, once you got tired of this speakeasy, no problem. You literally can take a secret tunnel to another club underneath the Union Square Hotel. This was called the Golden Bubble, and the Golden Bubble was like the spot, right? It had jazz music, it had flowing drinks, it had dancing, it had everything. Space for over 200 people. And actually, some of those people apparently never left the building. Apparitions began appearing in Union Square Hotel, and guests actually would open their doors to see Prohibition era men and women dressed sharply, passed out in the hallway. Now that's quite the hangover to last 100 years. It's a really long time. Now, the Golden Bubble is not the only location of our story. We also are here to talk about the Flood Building. Now, back in the day, Dashiell Hammett also worked in the Flood Building as a detective for the Pinkerton Detective Agency. I guess that's where he got a lot of his mysterious, stories for his writing. But before it was the Flood Building, it was the Baldwin Hotel. And the Baldwin Hotel was a beautiful hotel that stood for about a quarter of a century until it burned down one evening in 1898. You see, a fire broke out at 3:15 in the morning, and there was a serious blaze. And firefighters had so much trouble fighting this fire because it caused the power to go out in the building. So when the firefighters entered, they could see nothing except for the burning blaze, right? So many people were doing anything they could to escape. And there were a lot of people on the 4th floor, and they escaped by throwing out a really long rope and then slowly climbing down this rope to the ground. Now, the last person to do this was Captain Jonathan L. White. Yes, a lot of other people had escaped using this rope, and then he went to go do the same thing. Now, I guess this rope had seen a lot of stress from letting down a lot of the other people and probably also from the heat of the building. So when Captain White was escaping using this rope, it actually snapped and he fell 4 floors to the ground. And everyone outside rushed to his side to see his pale face and his mouth and nose gushing with blood. Now, it took days to clear the rubble and find the remains of all the people who were unable to escape. But even with that, some people were missing. There were 4 men, a woman, and 2 children who went missing completely after the fire. And who knows, they could be buried actually beneath the flood building to this day. I actually spoke with the security supervisor of the building and asked, if he had experienced any odd events. And according to him, when he takes the stairwell up to the fourth floor, he breaks out into a sweat. The temperature just suddenly rises. Other people have told stories of feeling like they're being stared at, and other people tell stories of feeling really cold and sweating at the same time, like a cold sweat. Also, at times, it can be heard a woman and two children screaming in the distance. Other times, you can hear a man screaming slowly fade, and perhaps that's Captain White, forever destined to fall to his death. Now, before I end the story, I want to end with a quote. Um, I think this quote really sums up San Francisco because I've told you a lot of eerie stories about San Francisco, but Herb Caen once said, "If I arrive in heaven, I'll say, hmm, it ain't bad, but it ain't San Francisco." So yes, despite all these stories, San Francisco is a wonderful place, and perhaps that's why all these spirits and ghosts stay here. But anyway, I want to thank you all so much for joining me on this tour. I really appreciate it. And don't forget about my email, and don't forget to go on our TripAdvisor page and leave us a review. Thank you. Also, I love tips, so feel free to tip me. And see me also if you would like to sign up for one of our other tours. Thank you so much.